Is this your experience with perspective videos? You watch them and you have no problem with them. Basic perspective, perspective for beginners, 1, 2 and 3 point perspective, even advanced perspective. You watch the videos, they all make sense. There are little boxes that have horizons or eye levels going through them. There's a vanishing point on each side. Perspective lines go from the object at various angles to the eye level, to the horizon. They meet at the same points, which are the vanishing points. And you think, yes, I get it. That looks right. But when I'm doing a drawing, when I'm looking at a building in front of me, when I have a photo reference, I'm looking at it thinking, how do I apply what I've learned in the understanding perspective videos? I know it's important, I know it's relevant, but where do I put the eye level? Where do I put the vanishing points? How do I know where to put them? How does that relate with what I'm seeing in front of me? And I go from having watched the videos thinking, I understand all of this, I think I've finally got it, to trying to do a drawing like this and going back to thinking, I've got no idea. Is this your problem? If it is, if this is your experience, then this point may be the reason for your confusion, for your dilemma. And it's not because what the videos teach you is wrong. And it's not because you haven't really understood the videos properly. It's almost certain that you have. But you've not understood one vital concept about the videos, and that's quite possibly because it wasn't actually said in the video. So what aren't we being told in most of our perspective videos? What's the key thing that's being left out? Well, I think it's this. When we watch how to do anything videos, they usually tell us what to do. They step us through the various stages of the process. And then when we go to do it, that's what we do. But if we've watched videos on understanding perspective and then we go to do a drawing that's either from something we see in front of us, from location sketching, or from a photo, those perspective videos that we've watched, they don't tell us what to draw. Our process with this photo or with this scene in front of us is not to start drawing horizons and vanishing points and drawing perspective lines, but we feel somehow we should be doing that or doing something like that because that's what we do in the how to draw videos. But when we're drawing in these circumstances, these understanding perspective videos, they don't tell us what to draw. Because what we need to do is to draw what we see. We have our subject in front of us. We can see it. If we accurately copy what's in front of us, our perspective angles will be correct. We don't have to somehow apply these perspective videos to what we see in front of us. And because I haven't understood this, then I'm somehow trying to apply over the top of what I see a theoretical framework of how perspective operates. And that often ends up just confusing me, even to the point where I may change what I really see to fit in with some sort of theoretical framework that I have in my head is how somehow it should look. And I've seen many drawings where I think that's been the key problem in their drawing. If these videos don't tell me helpfully what to do when I'm drawing, is there any point in watching them? Is it a waste of time? Should I not bother? Should I just draw what I see? As someone who has created many videos on understanding perspective in all sorts of circumstances, uphill, downhill, round a corner, as well as your more basic versions, of course I'm going to say the videos can be very helpful. So why should we watch them? How can they be helpful if what I'm meant to do is to draw what I see? Well, they're very helpful because they tell me what I should be expecting to see. They give me the patterns of the way perspective works. And when I look at my scene, I should be able to see how the perspective angles slope off in 1 or 2 or 3 directions. I should be able to identify an eye level, a horizon line, and see that the perspective angles above slope down to it and those perspective angles below slope up to it. And although they probably meet a long way off the paper, at least for some of the vanishing points, I can still get a sense of they will meet on that eye level. And because I think careful observation is the most important part of drawing, if we're wanting to draw something in a realistic sense, then anything that helps me to understand what I'm seeing is going to actually help me observe. So when I look at a scene to draw, All those perspective videos I've watched that have given me understanding as to how perspective works helps me to see what's happening in my picture or in front of me more accurately. And what I observe more accurately, I can then draw more accurately. But the shortcoming of the perspective videos in this situation is that they are usually in a very limited set of circumstances. So there is usually a flat surface, which doesn't help me if the scene in front of me is going uphill or downhill, or whether there are many different levels. But if the scene we're drawing agrees with the circumstances that the diagram in the videos are drawn with, then the perspective will match up. When I look at a scene in real life or in a photo, the first thing I do is I establish eye level, because that's the horizontal line across my whole scene, regardless of whether the ground level is flat or it's up or down or it moves up and down in various points. I know that all the perspective angles will meet on that eye level, but there could be many, many, many vanishing points, depending on how the buildings are positioned and at what levels. Is that the further a line is from the eye level, the steeper the angles will be. So I know that if we're looking, for instance, at a mountain of houses, then the buildings that are higher up will have much steeper perspective angles than the buildings that are closer to eye level, and certainly a lot more than any buildings that actually are on eye level. And let me make very clear, there are some circumstances, in fact, where understanding what's in these understanding perspective videos is actually essential, and that's when we're drawing buildings, structures, landscapes from our imagination. Because then I can't draw what's in front of me. Then I have to understand, if you like, the physics of how the visual and structural world operate. I can't just draw what I'm seeing, because I'm not seeing anything except what I can imagine in my mind. In those circumstances, it's going to be vital to understand the perspective rules if I want my architectural landscapes to capture a sense of reality. And if that's how you're trying to draw, and you're still mystified at times as to how to apply those to what you want to draw, then it may be that you just haven't watched enough of these videos, that too many of them have been based on this simple box on a flat surface that gives us two vanishing points. And some perspective videos that go further and look at more complex situations would be helpful. Understanding perspective when it goes uphill or downhill, understanding perspective on a curved street, understanding perspective with houses going up a hillside, multiple houses at multiple levels. Even understanding perspective within an interior scene. How does the perspective work for all the objects in that space? So if you are drawing from your imagination and trying to create original scenes in every sense of the word, then again, the problem may be not so much the videos that you've watched, but that you've watched too many videos that are of the same limited circumstances. And you need to look a bit further for videos that describe how perspective work in these more varied circumstances, such as uphill or downhill. But my sense is that for most people, we're drawing from photo references or from life, in which case it's really important to understand the distinction that all these perspective videos I've watched, they're not telling me what to do. I'm not trying to somehow make my scene that I'm looking at fit into them, but they are describing what I should expect to see. And so I should use them to help me understand how the perspective is working in the picture I'm looking at. But my focus should be on accurately copying what I see in front of me, because that is reality. There's not some deeper reality in these perspective videos. The perspective videos only help me with reality only to the degree that the circumstances I'm looking at match up with the circumstances in the videos. So I hope that helps. If you're one of the many people who've looked at a lot of videos and then you can't work how to apply them, it's because they're not telling you what to do if you're drawing from life or drawing from a photo. But they do very helpfully describe what you should be seeing. So use them to help you observe your scene, your reference more carefully. More careful observation will always lead to greater accuracy in our drawing. And if we do draw from imagination, then we need to make sure that we've watched a full range of, if you like, buildings in landscape circumstances, and we don't somehow try and apply rules that only work for a very narrow set of circumstances that we don't have in the scene that we're trying to create. I do have a perspective playlist connected with my YouTube channel, And I have, I don't know, over 30 videos that a lot of them detail various circumstances where perspective is a bit different from your basic 1, 2, 3 point perspective videos. So if this has been a problem for you, so perhaps these also may be helpful in your fuller understanding of perspective. And if you have some aspect of perspective that is a problem for you, then please tell us in the comments below. Maybe it'll be a good topic for a new video. In the meantime, I'm Stephen Travers. Have fun drawing. I'll see you next time. Bye.